I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Tommy Maloney. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Well, I have a glass of red wine. I was able to spend quality family time today, this weekend. I'm good.
That's
Engel,
good.
how are you, sir?
I'm great, champion. It's a great pleasure to connect with you. Thanks for asking. I'm pretty good. You're my final conversation for tonight. I'm rounding up here, so I'm really glad to connect with you, Tommy. Yeah.
I'm honored to be on this. Your 12-minute convos. I mean, this is a brilliant idea. I wish I had thought of that, but you already beat me to it, so therefore I'll have to come up with something else.
Yeah, you could. Hey, we could do 12 plus 1. It's cool.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, well, tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am in northern Colorado, in a town called Greeley, Colorado, where we're about an hour north of Denver.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting?
I really wish I had talent. Oh my gosh, how did we LinkedIn?
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
The talent of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So what were you doing up to this point in time, right, that got you to LinkedIn?
Well, I'm trying to build a multimedia company. Big word, try. Or as Yoda would say, there's no trying, there's only doing. I am just loving. I love the world of podcasts because I did 10 years in radio, and so for me this is just a perfect medium because, as a lot of my friends and family know, I have a face for podcasting.
That's great. I think that's the second time I've heard that this month. Yeah, I never heard it before. That I have a face for podcasting. Well, who did you learn the skill of? Even there's a foundation of radio. There's a foundation of podcasting, which is communication. Right. So who did you learn that skill from?
I that's a great question, and I'm gonna probably say Angle was growing up in Chicago and listening to back in, I don't want to say those days, but back in the 70s and 80s, that's when radio was still wonderful to listen to, was still a great medium to be a part of. And getting to listen to some of my heroes back then, for example, there was one of the disc jockeys, his name was Tommy Edwards, other known as Little Tommy. And one of my internships in Chicago at one of the radio stations, I got the opportunity to work with him. My dad got me connected with another famous Chicago DJ, John Records Landecker. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Records is truly his middle name. So that was probably, for me, learning how to communicate, learning how to build a one-on-one relationship with because like I said, Angela, working in radio, you really need to learn how to have a conversation with somebody you're not looking at.
Yeah.
And that was just a great skill that I was very blessed to really be able to wrap my head around. And I mean, I don't want to say I was successful in radio, but I had a lot of fun, and I have a very unique CD collection because of it.
I can well imagine. Hey, that's one of the things that occur with me. So with the podcast, yes, the technology does allow for me to do video, but I really find it to be rather intimate when I'm a guy that I'm super observant, right? So if you put on video, then I'm dealing with your cues, right? But when I'm forced to only listen to your voice and listen to what you're saying, it really changes the dynamics of the conversations that I've learned.
You're 100% right. And I think that's why I steer away from video, even though I'll do it from time to time on Instagram. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the video because I really do feel you do lose something. That's why the two things I love podcasting and I love writing, because they're just, in my view, just very true forms of communication.
Yeah. Well, definitely with the rising of the technology, it seems as though it's becoming the vinyl record, if you would, of the industry. Why will you continue to repeat the skill? Nevertheless.
Nevertheless, and we were talking about this right before we were recording, and yeah, I did put our podcast on the back burner for a while because life happened, life was changing, but then it just kept, if I can speak English, it kept coming back to me, and it was just, again, something that working in radio and just being drawn to that form of communication. As I'm sitting here in my home office, I'm looking at the microphone and the red light is on, and to me, that's super exciting.
Yeah.
That red light, and being able to, even though with podcasting, you can still go in and edit. I have never been a huge fan of editing, even with guests on the show, because I am afraid the audience will miss something if I edit wrong. But at the same time, I just know that whatever comes out of my mouth, good or bad, is out there, and it's for us. Like, for example, you and I, Angle. I mean, what we're doing right now, what we're saying right now, is going to be cataloged for eons.
Yeah.
Our great grandchildren are going to be like, oh my gosh, Tommy, you embarrass me so much. Which that's why I'm on this planet, to embarrass my family as best I can.
Yeah. I definitely echo your sentiments. I jump on here with the idea of every conversation I'm having. I have been given the opportunity to immortalize a voice, and for me, that's a grand opportunity. So yeah, you're definitely on point, Tommy. I love the fact that we are in sync tonight. Tommy, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Oh my gosh, I want to say, and I'm going to say it, is what I've learned how to be not only a good dad, but in my world, having 2 bonus daughters and trying to be the best role model, try to be the best parent to them. I'm not going to say I've consistently done that angle, but I know that I try my best on a daily basis to be part of their lives. So for example, my son and my youngest daughter are very similar in age, even though the youngest daughter is actually older than my son. And with those 2, I've got a great relationship. I mean, hopefully I have a good relationship with my own son, but with the daughter, Becca, I'll find things, motivational stuff, and I'll shoot them to her on Instagram, or I'll text her just to let her know not only am I thinking of her, but I want to give her as many life lessons and life skills to help her be successful and for her to succeed. So the past 3 years, I mean, my wife and I just celebrated 5 years being married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just hope, and I just read an article that you shouldn't, as entrepreneurs, you shouldn't be using the word hope, and I just failed that test. But I really do hope that the girls understand that I love them truly, and that I'm here for them, and that's the past 3 years, we've all had our ups and downs as a family. I mean, we're a blended family. So my wife brought in 2 daughters, I brought in a son, and luckily for my wife and I, the 3 kids get along just like they are truly blood siblings.
You've definitely been the orchestrator of that, right? So there's so much. Hey, amazing audience. There's so much about Tommy. Like we're melting away in the conversation of ourselves, right? Between ourselves, between life. But Tommy, just to be fair to the conversation, so let me do something. Let me read something off of his LinkedIn profile. He is the innovative and creative mind, TEDx speaker, podcast host, and author of 25 Tips for Divorced Dads. Do check him out, right? He is amazing, brings the value, and does it in a really fascinating way as well. I got to listen to the podcast, and believe me, he's amazing. But he always says something, and I'll say it for him. Tommy is not a lawyer. So definitely check that out. Tommy, let's switch gears for a bit now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Tommy, what is your earliest childhood memory?
The earliest childhood memory, which is one of the least favorite childhood memories, was, and I think that's where my journey is to up until this point with me, and that is watching the day my dad left. And, that's something that's tattooed on my brain for as long as I can breathe. But I firmly believe, and it's taken me a long time, Angle, but I firmly believe that I needed to go through that. And my dad and I now, well, actually it started back in college. We've got a great relationship. I'm working on my third book, which is somewhat loosely based on some interesting advice my dad gave me. But even though, that's one memory I don't enjoy, but like I said, it's something that I needed to go through, mostly because when I went through my first divorce, I didn't want to emulate a vision for my son of him watching his dad leave. So good or bad, that did not happen, but that's probably the earliest childhood memory, and unfortunately one of those that just occasionally still sticks with me. But like I said, Angle, it's all worked out. It's worked out very positively.
Yeah, that's great. How old do you think you were?
My parents' divorce, I was 5, right around 5.
Okay. All right. Well, I think you definitely connected the dots there. Glad that you did. Definitely created a platform for healing in terms of the relationship, right? Which is pretty intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song, Tommy?
Oh my gosh, that's like 100 years ago, my man. 12 years old. I'm trying to. All right, so oh my gosh, I don't know. I'll tell, like, a lot of my friends back then were really heavy into bands like Kiss. I really didn't understand Kiss. I got it. Actually, because of my dad, was Frank Sinatra. Because of my mom, the Beach Boys. I was somewhat of an odd duck when it came to music back then. So yeah, Frank Sinatra, Jan and Dean, the Beach Boys.
Yeah. Tell me one song that pops immediately in your mind.
Oh, Beach Boys, I Get Around.
Okay. Yeah. You definitely do get around, don't you?
Yeah. Hey, hold on. What do you mean by that? Don't.
Hey, well, tell me, hey, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Tell me, are you ready?
I am ready, Angle.
Tell me, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
All right, so yes, but not an indirect way. Or not a direct way, more indirect with my son and daughter. We call them the Wonder Twins. So like I said, I try and send them positive messages, and passing down what I want to do is indirectly I'm trying to teach them without teaching them. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it does. So you said you were married. You spoke of your children. Do you believe in God?
I do now.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I don't. I'm a very, very, very introvert person.
All right. Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
No.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, definitely more than 8, because I'm a creative person, so I'm constantly in a writing mode.
Okay. Tell me, after having 1,001 conversations in 2016, in 3 months, I needed to do butt surgery.
Ouch.
No, I'm joking. I created a workbook, right? It's called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And the idea is, as you answer those questions, you dig deeper to find your mission, your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Tommy Maloney, what would you say that is?
I'm unique anyway. I'll have to quote somebody else and just say, don't do as I do, or something to that effect. Don't do as I do. Do it your way. as Frank Sinatra would say. Do it.
There we go. There we go. Frank comes back up. Oh, that's good. Hey, Tommy, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I'm just honored, Engel, that you considered me for this project. I don't want to plug anything. I just want to say I'm so grateful for your time. I'm so grateful that, again, you allowed me to be part of this. And I'm just grateful all over for you, your listeners. And that's it.
Yeah, well, hey. The big TM, the big Tommy Maloney. Hey, thank you, my friend, for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.